Jumanji, The Next Level, or I like to call it We Got Fun and Games, which would be a way better subtitle than the one we got, Welcome to the Jungle, We Got Fun and Games. Anyways, this movie is a sequel to the 2017 film. We got the same cast back, and this movie is familiar with a few fresh elements, fun, enjoyable time, but it doesn't take too many creative risks. The plot goes like this. Spencer is feeling a little bit depressed with his humdrum life. It doesn't really compete with being, a brave adventurer with super strength in the world of Jumanji and saving the entire world of the video game. So he decides to grab the video game, fix it, and go back in. And when his friends are supposed to meet him for brunch, they find him missing from his house. His grandfather and his grandfather's friend, who's trying to repatch an old friendship, gets sucked into the video game. But however, because Jumanji's broken, all the avatars are switched. That is the sort of twist of the second movie. When I heard that they're making a sequel to Jumanji, I was sort of scratching my head and going like, what was it going to go in the game again? So the reason for them going to the game again is kind of weak, because Spencer basically just wants to go back in and just hang around and do the game on his own for whatever reason. But this time there's a little bit of injection of freshness, because Spencer's grandfather Eddie, played by Danny DeVito, is now Smolder Bravestone. And his friend Milo is soft-talking, quiet. He's now Mouse Finbar. And Martha is Ruby again, but now Fridge is Shelley Oberon. And Bethany never made it into the game. So the four of them have to complete a new game of Jumanji, this time taking them out of the jungle and going to the deserts, icy mountain, and a completely different adventure. I felt that the movie had really good comedic elements. The sort of action violence where Smolder Bravestone can go around punching anything is great. However, the rest of the movie is just it feels a little bit kind of like a retread. There was no emotion this time. Whenever characters lost lives, it just kind of felt like a, kind of like a shrug. In the first movie, it felt like, like a knife in the gut, because it kind of felt like, if you die in the game, you die in real life. The sequel kind of just doesn't really explore that at all, really. Basically, characters lose lives left and right, and then they sort of just go through the motion. The movie feels kind of short. It's only an hour and 40 minutes long, and it feels short. The villain's pretty good. His name's Jurgen, and he's got the gem, and they have their basic adventure. The set pieces are fine. There's one within a desert, there's one in the jungle, and then there's one in the ice fortress. However, the last one, the ice fortress, doesn't seem that... The plot is very threadbare, is what I mean. The reason for returning to Jumanji is a little bit weak, and the movie itself's plot's a little weak. The only thing that is enjoyable is the characters. The cast is having a great time. They have great chemistry. They didn't really do anything with the body swapping thing. The avatars are all switched, and they don't really do too much with that. They could have done a little bit more with that, because the movie just sort of lumbers around, and it's fun. The movie, don't get me wrong, the movie's a lot of fun. It just kind of feels not as fresh or as suspenseful as the first film. Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle, felt really fresh because it was like a new rebooted sequel on an old thing with more suspense and a lot of freshness. This movie doesn't feel as fresh as the first film. It kind of feels like it's just there to make the money, which is not a big deal because it's a fun, enjoyable action adventure. It almost feels like a DLC, it's like an added-on adventure after the movie. Stakes aren't as high. Everyone's there. Everyone's having a good time. So I give Jumanji, The Next Level, a 6.5 out of 10.